Let's go. There. Welcome to Around the Ropes podcast, guys. You guys know we always talk about the independent scene, and we want to talk about a company now that we're going to be starting to work with now, and I'm actually very happy because we kind of go back a little bit.
We do.
And we didn't realize it till recently, but guys, OWR, Outcast Wrestling Revolution, is presenting their next show on November 2nd, and we're going to get into that and all that with the promoter, Cyndi Hart and Lou Jacobs. Guys, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program. How are you guys doing tonight?
Awesome.
We're great. Sick intro, by the way.
Yeah, I think that was a good video. I liked it.
Thank you.
I was like, yeah.
Don't mind stuffiness. Killing me today.
I know. I have to work on that. I have to revamp that a little bit. But guys, Cyndi, I want to start with you first. I know we kind of figured out you and I actually go back a little bit.
We do, yeah. Yep. So you and I had actually used to moderate a wrestling group with Cruz Santiago, right? He used to run this group and give out prizes for like making predictions and stuff like that. It was a really cool group. It kind of just like fell off after a while. I'm not really sure what happened, but I know you've been on my friends list like this whole time. Like we've, seen each other in passing here and there. But yeah, you were always pretty cool to me. And it's so funny because how I was brought back to you was one of my favorite people, one of my favorite wrestlers, Jay Outcast, was on your show. And he brought up my name. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know John. I'll talk to him. And so I ended up reaching out. And here we are, about a week.
And believe me, it was, like I said, I've been watching because one thing when it comes to this show is I cover a lot of independent wrestling. I mean, I was telling you guys before, I cover Battleground. I cover a lot of the companies in Jersey, upstate New York, Maine, Massachusetts. And I was like, you know what? I want to try. And the funny thing is, all of this, none of this was because of other people, realistically. A lot of this was because of me and the work I've put out there. And I've always watched what you guys have done, and I've always seen what you guys have done from an outsider. But I'm like eventually I'll get up there. Eventually our paths will cross at some point. And when the opportunity came for November 2nd, I was like, you know what? Why not? So let's dive into that first. What made you want to go from, being the fan at the show to being the promoter to being the one that runs everything?
Well, honestly, like when I was a child, it was my dream to be a professional wrestler. That dream got brought to a halt when I was 24, and they told me I have lupus and I cannot train because my bones are bad, and a few other factors that factored in, and it crushed me. I ended up raising my kids for a little bit. I came back for like a couple of things. I started ring announcing for a while. I like ring announcing, but it is a lot of socializing that I'm not, particularly prepared for on any given day, So I have old school values. The way I was brought up, it was like an old school mindset. I have visions. I wanted to run my own school and run my own shows. And I started doing that with somebody up in Massachusetts. And then me and Lou met, and it turns out he had some of the same dreams and aspirations. And obviously he's the one who does all the training with the wrestlers and everything, and, even how to do things. But it worked out really well. I moved down here. We've been running together ever since. And I've had the most fun of my life, honestly.
Now, the name Outcast, Wrestling Revolution, was that because you're a fan of Jay Outcast? I just have to ask.
No, he would like to think that, and I will just say yes for ha-has, but no. It's because we're outcasts. Like our locker room is different, our vibe is different. Everybody is awesome. Everybody is respectful. Like we all work together as a unit. It's like a not an environment that you see in a lot of other places nowadays. But I consider us to be the outcasts. I've been outcasted. I'm a female and I'm a promoter. So I mean that in itself is like what? Like some people.
And the Revolution part is actually a throwback to an old company I used to work for. And that company was ran by a guy named Ron Rivera. And it was kind of the stepping stone to PWG. Because out of that company was Super Dragon, Scorpio Sky, a lot of those guys that ended up, running PWG.
So I know I get that, and eventually would become, AEW. Because that's what it ends up happening with, especially with independent wrestling, is you say a guy's name, and it's like, yeah, it's like they might have started here, but yeah, they'll end up in AEW. Just give it time.
Yeah.
But Cyndi, I want to go back to you for a second. You said about the ring announcing thing, and I've actually had the luxury of talking to a lot of the ring announcers, from Ryan Peterson to Shane Fair, Mike Falvo, Rich Reed.
Yeah. By the way, I love every people.
Basically, I called the Mount Rushmore of ring announcers in the Northeast. And I actually got a chance a couple weeks ago to make my sort of ring announcing debut for Titan Championship Wrestling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was supposed to be at an angle with a wrestler by the name of Anthony Gangone, Dr. Sleep, who, I'll put it this way, I got into the ring, and it was at Seaside Heights, and it was an interesting moment because I literally got into the ring, and I forgot what I was about to say.
I'd be lying if I said that never happened to me. It's happened to me a lot of times. Listen, I smoke marijuana. It's legal. I say it's a lot of pot to go all the time. Give me a break. But it's a joke. But
I get it. But I give all you guys credit though, because I stood there and I was like, I actually had to look at the regular ring announcer, Nick Downey, and I kind of looked at him. I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to say again? Because the whole angle is, this actually goes back to another company that I work with, Bree Combination, with Anthony Gangone and Anthony Cole, who are kind of going at it right now. And I had Anthony Gangone on this podcast. You can go back and watch that interview. And he wasn't too thrilled with one question that I asked him, because he was one of their champions, and he lost the belt, and he felt like management wasn't pushing him the right way through social media, that they were promoting everybody else, and why not him? So in my warped mind, I was like, okay, then if you're pissed off about that, then why couldn't you take it upon yourself then to promote yourself then?
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't and I'll put it this way, Gangone the person loved the question. Gangone the character, yeah, wasn't too thrilled with the question. And basically at that show, I was the ring announcer because it was my first time back with Titan since December of last year. I kind of had a fallout with them. I came back and I got asked to do it. So I said, fine, not a problem. Yeah, Anthony Gangone then attacked me and applied the mandible claw.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's actually video of it out there on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Of the attack. And let me put it to you this way. The one moment a lot of people still say from that show is me getting attacked.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And Seaside Heights for them is like one of their bigger shows of the year. And that was my first time in the ring. And the comment everybody says to me is, they're like, oh, you have the training, right? I said, no, I've never stepped foot into a ring. But I kind of know, I've kind of been doing this long enough. But Lou, I want to ask you now, what made you want to become a wrestler in yourself?
I mean, I grew up loving it, and I found out there was a school nearby where I lived at the time in San Diego, California, and the rest was history.
And I was actually looking because you've trained quite a few of the big names now, right?
A few. Like, I've had hands in the training. Like, I wouldn't say that I was their head trainer or anything, but I've definitely had a hand in a lot of Human Tornadoes one, Flash Waller, Kylon King, The Haven.
Well, Taven right now, I know he's one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, no, I said Tornado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the last one was The Haven.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I trained with Taven for about a year.
When you were training with him, did you see it back then that he would become the guy who we see now on TV?
It was actually not too long. It was around the time right before he became the Ring of Honor champion.
Gotcha. And
a West Coast guy, so like my trainer was B-Boy, my original, and then a guy named oh my god, American Wild Child.
No, definitely. I give all independent wrestlers, I don't care what level you're on, a crap ton of credit for getting into the ring, because I've been chopped before. I've stepped foot into a ring, and I think I was sore for like 3 days coming out of the ring.
All I've been doing is rolling, and I'm sore from yesterday.
I was training with Sunset Steve Garcia last night, and I got kicked in the face.
He did. He has a mark on it right here.
Training.
Well, at least you didn't do what I did last time I stepped foot into a ring before this one. I forgot how tall the middle rope was, and I went through it, and the middle rope kind of gave out and kind of hit me like.
Oh, yeah, that hurts. Those ropes are unforgiving.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of learned that lesson real quick. But I want to dive into the show on November 2nd, because you guys were saying beforehand that that's for two big causes. For the people who are watching it, what are the two causes that are part of the show?
Well, the first thing that we're doing is a toy drive. We have goals to give children a Christmas that wouldn't otherwise get one. So if you bring a new unwrapped toy to this show, we will give you $5 off admission. Kids 7 and under are free, and Santa Claus will be there taking free pictures with every kid who wants one before the show and at intermission. And he might have goodies for the kids. And that's our first cause, which is important to me because we want to do good for the community around us, especially because we live here, you know what I mean? But secondly, I have a friend named Courtney, and she is one of my longest friends. She was in the room with me when my first son was born. My first son ended up passing away when he was 4 months old, and she was right there with me when that happened too. Well, her daughter's sick now, and she is going back and forth to Boston for dialysis, and my friend can't afford to bring her back, but she needs a kidney. She has to find a donor. And so my idea and Lou's idea was to put together a raffle, and 100% of the proceeds from that raffle will be donated to Courtney to help her get her daughter back and forth to Boston.
And I commend both of you guys for doing that, because you don't see that a lot. I mean, especially by that point of the year, you're getting towards the holiday season. But I think those are both, very valuable things. And guys, like I said before, if you're coming to the show, definitely bring a toy. Bring multiple toys, even if you can.
Yeah, we would love it. Anything. I have gotten the fire department and the police department involved. I've been emailing back and forth with them. They're going to send some volunteers to come in and help us with the distribution of our donations, and help us keep the kids in line with Santa, and help us have a good day and deliver quality. I could say TV because we are on the One Network now. TV tapings every show, so they're going to help us deliver good quality everything pretty much. And we just want the kids to have a good time, and for everyone around here to have a good time and raise money for these what I feel is very important. If you've ever been a single parent and you've struggled to give your child a Christmas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have been there, and so I want to do something for somebody else now that I'm in a position to.
And I completely agree. And that's been my philosophy with a lot of stuff. Is when I do have a job and I have friends of mine who are like, oh, can you lend me, I need, I don't want to ask you for money, but I'll usually sit and be like, okay, how much do you want me to give you? And they'll be like, oh, well, do I owe you anything back? I said, no. I said, I'm in the position that I can help you. I will help you, no questions asked.
Right. Exactly.
And that's always been my mentality. That's always been my mindset. Because I always look at it as, and I never ask for anything in return. I'm not that type of person who's gonna sit there and say, oh, well, I sent you money on this day. Can you do this?
Yeah.
I look at it as it's me being me. And basically, the funny thing is, the guy who you see here right now, and the guy who will be at the show on November 2nd, because guys, that's the other big part of the thing I just want to mention. It's the same person. I don't play a character. And guys, the other part of it I did want to make a mention is Around the Ropes will be at the show on November 2nd. I did want to make a mention of that as well.
Which makes us very, very happy, by the way. We welcome you with open arms. We are a very welcoming promotion in general. We welcome everybody. We don't care about any of the controversial issues. Everybody is welcome. It is for the outcasts, so to speak.
I did that, but I do want to just want to throw this out there. Yep, guys, like I said, we are coming up there November 2nd. I cannot wait to be up there. I mean, I've been in Connecticut before for Blitzkrieg when they've done a show. So it'll be nice to be up in Connecticut again, but also be nice to be up there for a show that's going to have great wrestlers on. And a lot of them, the funny thing is, a lot of the ones I've seen on the poster, I've known already. Right. Or I've worked with them. Like people like, I know Ken Powers and TK will be up there. Everybody's favorite PJ Savage will be up there. I think Sarah Jane, I saw her face on the poster, will be up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for fans who've never been to an OWR show, I mean, that's going to be a tongue twister if I've ever heard one. What can they expect?
They can expect some really good storytelling. We are big on that. We want to do things that not every company's doing. We want to be different. We want to have like episodes of our stuff and our stories. We want them to be brilliant. You know what I mean? We're obviously concerned about safety overall before anything, and we just want everyone to have a good time. But we also want to put on quality stuff to where you're not being like, oh, this match is so what. No, every single one of our matches, we want you to be like, wow. And even our pre-show at our last show kicked off the show was amazing. Amazing. All three competitors really impressed us. We're actually bringing back Paradox because of how much he impressed us. And we're not going to have the same 10, 15 guys on every show. We're going to showcase talent from everywhere, pretty much.
And we got some surprises that are going to be coming from all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I can't wait to see them. And I'll put it out there as well. At this show, if any of the fans, obviously, if you want, it's up. And again, I'm just going to throw it out there. If any of the fans wanted a picture with the podcaster, be more than happy to.
Well, yeah, you're welcome to set up anything you need.
Yep.
Anything you want, anything you need.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, I know a lot of the guys up there already, and I'm used to doing the 3-hour car ride. So,
yeah, we're about to do. We go out to Maine and stuff all the time, so we're so used to being in the car at this point. We are in a few other promotions too. Like we don't just work OWR. We've worked like NWWE, Main Premier Wrestling. There's a show in Everett on October 26th that will be at the Everett Rec Center in Boston, Everett, Mass. So I mean, we're kind of all over the place. There's other Coliseum Pro Wrestling, run by the Hitman Steve Garcia, and I love that guy. So there's a lot of promotions we work very close with. We love Mama Kaiju, and these are all places that we like going because they have the same kind of locker room, the same kind of like very chill, like nobody's in danger of blowing up kind of stuff. Like everything's just awesome.
No, and I've seen that because like I said, I go to a lot of and a lot of times when you go to it, because with me, I'm averaging, and it's funny because living on Long Island, I have 3 promotions that I can go to within probably an hour of my house, with Creative Pro, Victory Pro, and Creative Pro, and actually be 2 then. Creative Pro and Victory Pro are the 2 big ones on Long Island.
We've been invited to Victory Pro.
Yeah.
It's just it's a hike when we've been busy. We are in other places. Yeah. It's kind of hard to find time. Plus, we're parents. So.
Well, trust me, I look at it as I average car ride at a minimum an hour and a half, and that's at a minimum.
That's about our minimum too.
I've done car rides already. I mean, people laugh. There's a company I work with called UWE, which is up in Oneida. Mm-hmm. And for me to leave my house, because they used to do tapings later in the day, I would leave my house 8 o'clock in the morning to be up there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tapings would start at 4. We'd be done by 9. I wouldn't be home till probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of our days too, coming in at times. A lot of times.
Well, and people laugh at me. Like my girlfriend has laughed at me. She goes, why don't you just stay at a hotel and then come? I'm like, no. I'm like, if I can make it home in one day, why wouldn't I?
Because it's exhausting.
But the funny thing is, what I'll usually do is I'll stop at a gas station, get something to drink. 9 times out of 10 is usually an energy drink, and I'm smooth sailing home.
See, we're old, so.
Speak for yourself.
I'm speaking.
But no, I mean, people laugh at me. I mean, I've always said this for years. I travel like I'm an independent wrestler, but I don't get paid like I'm an independent wrestler.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, independent wrestlers don't get paid a lot either. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I've done it right where I've been on the road 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Yeah. Yep.
And we were coming home yesterday, and my parents oh my god, I can't believe this is how the roads look at midnight. I'm like, I'm used to this. I'm like, I'm used to being out, in my car coming home, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a fun experience. I will say that much. But getting back with OWR for a second, who have been some of the standouts for you guys this year in the company?
Paradox for sure.
Paradox, definitely. He's very impressive in that ring. We are actually having issues with Dan the Man right now. Specifically, he came after me with a chair at our last show. So that's going to be handled. And yeah, I'll handle that at the show. You'll have to show up and see what happens. But that stood out to me because, I dream about choking him. But other than that, we've had a lot of good talent on our shows. Sammy Chaos is my prize champion. I say that. I make jokes that he's my 5th prize champion, and one of our titles is vacant.
No, at the time, 3 were vacant.
Okay, at the time, 3 were vacant, but now only 1 is vacant, and that's our tag titles, which we're having a gauntlet match, a tag gauntlet for the tag titles to crown our first ever tag team champion. But I make jokes that he's my 5th prize champion, Sammy Chaos, and then PJ Savage. But we have yet to crown our tag champs. It's going to be pretty interesting. We have a really good card put together for this show. We expect to impress with this card.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is there any other... I know you've announced a few matches, but if there's any other matches you guys like to announce now, by all means, go right ahead.
I don't know. know. Should we? Should we
announce the Sammy match?
Yeah, Sammy versus Tiffany Avatar for the Platinum Championship. That's going to be a pretty good match.
Yeah, I actually saw Sammy. I actually have the poster here. Oh, okay, it's on the floor right now. I can't grab it. But when she was part of Battleground for the women's show, back in July, I was on call for that one, and and that was the first time I'd ever seen her in action, and I was very impressed with what I saw.
Fantastic. I love everything about her, from everything. Her everything is just amazing. She has done nothing short of impress me, and I hope she knows I'm sending her out a lot of love right now because of that.
Like I said, I'm very impressed with her, and obviously I've seen PJ Savage wrestle 100 times, and the comment I always laugh with him is, why does he have to announce his name Savage when he enters the ring? Does he forget his name or something?
I think he does. I think he does.
And that leads to our next match announcement. PJ Savage will be defending his brand new Ground Zero Championship against none other than Ken Powers.
Ooh. Two guys, yeah. Those are two guys, especially down in Titan fans, would definitely know who both those guys are, because those guys, that can be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a hard-hitting match.
Yeah. And, I mean, you talk about somebody like Ken Powers. I've seen him wrestle now quite a few times for Titan. And he's always really been tag team wrestling the times I've seen him, because he's always been with TK and some other guys. But by himself, yeah, but
I would
by him.
Shut Up.
No, go ahead.
When I was doing Shut Up and Wrestle, that's where I met Ken Powers, and he was doing competition there. And back then, I thought he was good, and he has only improved so much since then. And tag teaming with he has with Genesis right now. Genesis will also be at our show. So you will see TK, you will see Clipper Jones.
Bum.
I'm not giving away everything, but I am giving you some juicy tidbits so that you can take that.
No, absolutely. And I also, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun. And what time does the show start?
So we're gonna open the doors at 6:30, and we're gonna have Santa there doing pictures in the beginning. But bell time's not gonna be till 7.
Okay. But guys, like I said, you're definitely going to want to get your tickets. It's going to be a loaded show. And you'll be able to hear PJ Savage even if you're not in the area, because let's be honest, the guy yells his name out loud every time.
And if Outcast shows up, you'll hear him chant PJ Savage's name very loudly.
Or you're just going to hear Savage Jr. Savage Jr. That's what they do now.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, like I said, I saw PJ a couple weeks ago at Titan take on Big Jeff Noise, and yeah, that was a hard-hitting match. So the fact that you got PJ going up against Ken Powers, that's going to be a match that people, I think, are really going to have to keep an eye out for.
Oh, absolutely. And
I really think people have to keep their eye out for it.
And that's just part of our show. There's so many more goodies that are in there that we can't quite give away right now, because we haven't released pretty much any of our cards. I think we released one match before the two that we just told you.
The Paradox match.
Yeah. But
2 other matches we had planned out.
You talk about tag team wrestling. You talk about the tag team stuff, and you want to talk about a very loaded tag team division. I mean, just look at the Northeast with tag team wrestling as a whole.
Oh yeah.
You got Miracle Generation up by you guys. You have you have Team Friendship for Immortal Championship Wrestling with Adam Stone and Mike Skyros. There's a Black and Yellow is another one. I mean, you don't have to give names now, but are there some names that you guys are looking at to hopefully try to bring in for that tag team tournament?
About everyone you just said.
Oh, okay.
And more. We have some plans up our sleeve. Unfortunately, we can't say too much at this time about that, but we do have a pretty good tag team division lined up. We have people waiting to get in right now. We intend to explore those options.
I can't honestly. That's gonna be a lot of fun because I'm very big when it comes to tag team wrestling. I'm very big in a fan that because I feel like a lot of times you get a better story with tag team wrestling
I agree.
than singles.
Actually, there is one team that's already put their name in from the. If you watch our YouTube channel and you watch the Sunset Steve match, at the tail end of that, there's a promo, and it gives away one of the teams, and that's going to be Sunset Steve Garcia and Fly Nine Noriega.
Paid in full.
I can't. Fly Nye is a guy who I've actually been. A lot of people have said to me that they want him to come on this podcast. So I know he's, I think, injured right now.
He is, but he's been working out. He's been training. He's been getting his knee, stronger and stronger day by day. And he says by the show time he'll be ready. So,
Hey, I can't wait, and hopefully, obviously, we can talk more about this afterwards. But I'm hoping to have some of the OWR talent on the podcast at the show, like even for like a few minutes beforehand.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Anybody you want to interview, you have free reign, my friend.
I appreciate it, but guys, I do appreciate both of you guys coming on again, guys. It's November 2nd. All goes down again, guys. For the people who are watching now, what are the tickets are available? I'm assuming tickets are still available.
We do have QR codes on our flyers. You can get pre-sales in advance, or you can get them at the door. We take Cash App, PayPal, and cash at the door. So,
but guys, definitely go check out OWR. They put out some great stuff, and guys, you'll be seeing a lot more OWR coverage on the Around the Ropes podcast in the weeks and months to come. But Cyndi, Lou, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it a lot, and I can't wait to be up there in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait to have you.
Alrighty. For Cyndi and for Lou, I'm John. This has been Around the Ropes podcast. See you guys next time.